Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again in my old house. For some reason I like to come here and do videos. I like the fact that I don't have to worry about noise or anything. Like I really do. I wish that, I don't know, whatever. So, yeah, and I just gotta say, like, I've been watching American Horror Story Season 4, and I'm really disappointed. I'm really pissed off. Like, I'm really, like, upset, because the first 4 episodes were all A-plus masterpieces, but now it feels like there's nowhere to go from here. I mean, honestly, I really don't feel like there's any plots that are really gonna like go anywhere interesting. Like they did the same old thing that they do every fucking season, where they have a really good character, they get rid of them too early, the show climaxes, and then it's all downhill from there. And they do that every fucking season. I'm just getting fucking tired of it because it is so good. I mean, and of course, I haven't seen the rest of the season yet, so my feelings could change. But overall, I'm really not looking forward to watching the next episode tomorrow, because I just feel like, oh wow, you just got rid of those characters. What's gonna happen now? Like I'm really. That's just a side note. Like I was like, holy shit! Like they really. I don't know. It seems, and I know that this is not American Horror Story Video, but it seems like they revel in disappointment. Like they really like to do, like, you know how that piece of shit person who made the Star Wars Disney sequel to the shitty ass first one, you know, he really loves subverting expectations, and that's like his favorite word. He thinks that it makes him some sort of a genius to do that, to make half the audience upset on purpose. And it feels, weirdly enough, like the same thing with this, where it's almost like the writers are like, you know, in real life, it's not like a story, so we should just have it, we should just have the unexpected happen, because it's life, you know, it's unexpected. And I just, it's so disappointing. I'm just so like, I really hope that it doesn't get worse from here, though. I'm really, really hoping, because I really want to love this season. I already love the first 4 episodes. I give them all A+. Like, I genuinely loved all 4 of them, but now, what's the rest of the season gonna be like? I'm so nervous, and just not looking forward to watching the episodes after today. So that's unfortunate. So anyways, the real reason that I'm here is to rank all the movies and shows of the Chucky series. And this is because I have to do this after every new thing comes out. It's like a shitty tradition that I don't look forward to. It's like a shitty holiday, you know. It's like one of those pointless holidays where you're like, why does this even exist? Or like, what? Like, I guess it's fine, people get a day off, but it's just like, ugh. You know, that's what this is like. Like, I really do love rankings, but the thing I despise is having to update them. I don't know if that makes much sense. I don't think you really understand unless you had to do it yourself. Like, it just feels like a chore every single, okay, now a new thing came out, I gotta go back and update this and update that. So, the worst thing in the Chucky series is automatically, so number 10, season 2 of the Chucky series. So this is kind of like a weird thing because I did like a couple of the episodes in the middle of the season. I felt like the show was headed in a good direction. You know, there were some really cool kills. That's not really an excuse for the poor storytelling. But they did something this season which has become a problem, a reoccurring problem, which is they rush stories so fast. You know, they'll have a really good idea. Like, you know, the first season you had that bitch Lexi, and she's redeemed because she feels sorry. Which, in my opinion, is like, yeah, tough shit, bitch. Like, I was so disappointed in season 1 when Chucky didn't get to kill her. Like, that would have been a highlight of the series. But there's a really good idea where, oh, there was this guy, he was worse than I ever was. And he's at this school because he got kicked out of our school. And then what happens? Like an episode later, you meet him, he gets killed. It's just so anticlimactic. You know, stuff like that happens the whole season. And then it gets really complicated and convoluted. Too much of the show struggles with, is it comedic or is it serious? It seems like it rides in the middle because it knows that the fanboys are okay with them doing anything. You know, like no matter what they do, the fanboys will say, it's a masterpiece, it's a masterpiece. And so another thing is the reintroduction of Glenn / Glenda. You know, this character has now been turned into another agenda, and I knew exactly that was going to happen as soon as I saw the trailer. I saw the terrible casting that they did, where they cast one actress to play a guy and a girl or something, but now Glenn is non-binary, quote unquote, because it's 2022. And it's like, no, he was never non-binary. That was not the character at all. Sorry, but you don't even know your own characters, your own trash characters. I mean, this is the thing, too. Nobody wanted Glenn and Glenda. Nobody. Glenn and Glenda is one of the most disappointing, if not the most disappointing elements of the whole fucking series. There's nothing good about Glenn and Glenda. Okay, this character, I despise this character. I think it's a piece of trash character, and the fact that they devote this huge chunk of the season to this character, and it's so strange because after all of this time, Glenn and Glenda's arc is that they're put back into the original doll, and then the doll looks like a trans person now. And like that's their arc. That's their character arc. Like, what a fucking joke. What a complete and utter fucking joke. And then you have the whole fucking story with Tiffany that was trash. You know, that was another trash story. You know, they had that whole murder mystery episode, which was definitely the worst episode of the series. Or maybe it's tied with the season 1 finale. Really, really bad. And the most frustrating thing about this season is the fact that there were some good ideas, you know, in the middle. There were some really good, like I really liked the character of Megan. I thought that she was really cool. I really like Devon Sawa. I like him a lot as an actor. So it's sad that that his character from season 1 wasn't still around or something. Because his character this season, he's just a stereotype. And I knew that exactly that was going to happen. As soon as I saw, oh no, it's going to be a religious place for kids, for troubled youths, I knew it was just a vehicle for agendas. So that they could have this fan fiction, fantasy storytelling where, I don't agree with what's in the Bible. I want to challenge that. Like that's basically like the whole point that they're there. It really doesn't have anything to do with the story being better or making sense. It's just all about fulfilling like the creators' like anti-religion agendas, which I really don't care. Like the thing is, like, I don't care if he's religious or not. I don't care if anyone is or not. But it just felt like a typical thing where, nowadays these pieces of shit writers, they always feel like they have to tell everyone their opinion about everything. So it's like, okay, we have to have like a scene where Devin is sitting there and he's tearing out pages of the Bible and he's like, yeah, yeah. And it's just so cringeworthy. And Chucky this season, he's really not that scary except for a couple of moments. And that's the thing too, they had some good ideas with like Chucky variants. And so they have one that was like really buff. They have one that was like Colonel Kurtz from Apocalypse Now. I really like some of the ideas in this season, like how the kids were splintering off, because they did create the best character in the whole series, which was good Chucky. And it would have been so perfect if this really was a good version of Chucky, because it would have showed you that, after all these years, we're finally going to develop the character of Charles Lee Ray more. We're not going to make him Tommy Wiseau in the room where he's pining over some random biatch and then he tries to kill her while she's pregnant. Ugh, what a trash story that was. We'll get to that. Instead, they kind of make it seem like he has this reverse Dr. Loomis character. And this doctor, she is a sick, insane, crazy psychiatrist, and she's really the reason that he was encouraged to become evil as a teenager. And I thought that was a good idea, but then they wasted that. They could have... So overall, this season, it was a mess, and then the finale didn't even feel like it was a part of the season. So that was really weird. Number 9 is season 1. I don't really have much more to say about this piece of shit season. It was basically one of the biggest disappointments in the franchise, along with Glenn and Glinda. They really didn't do anything new or interesting because they blew their load. They had a great idea with this kid named Jake. Although he's a terrible actor, he's in this terrible situation with terrible bullies, all these people. And what if Chucky was there and he encouraged him to become a serial killer? There's just something really great about that idea. It feels kind of like a Goosebumps idea. It was really, really cool. But then they ruined that because they went the opposite way where, oh no, Chucky's going to be the bad guy with Junior. And Junior, he was such a terrible actor. It was like he was going to fall asleep every single scene he was on screen. Like he's just there and he's like, and he was terrible. And so the season ended up being about Chucky turning him into a serial killer. And it was just such a huge mess, huge disappointment. The fact that fanboys think it's good is just a demonstration of how low the series has gotten, because it just shows this is the state of horror in general, is that you can really make any dog shit and you'll still have all these fanboys, you'll have all these people saying, oh my god, this is the greatest thing of all time. Just like with Halloween Ends. The first 2 movies in that shitty ass fucking bitch fuck you plagiarist trilogy, they were terrible. They were awful. There were things that happened in them that was even worse than the stuff that happened in part 3. Part 3 was just the icing on the cake. But fanboys acted like oh no, the third one's good because it's different. And, oh God. There's no good horror now. There's hardly any good horror at all. You have to really scrape at the bottom of the ice cream container to get any good horror. And so people just accept what they're given. It's the equivalent of, I really want chocolate chip ice cream! And then you got this bitch in a fucking tutu and 3D glasses, and she's like, Sir, we do not have enough chocolate chip to fill a cone, so you are gonna get bubble gum! It's like, okay, I don't want bubble gum, I wanted chocolate chip! But you have all these people, they're like, okay, I'll take bubble gum. Yeah, I bet you'll take it. I bet you'll take that bubble gum. Fucking. Oh. Number 8 is. I didn't even bring my water in here. What a mistake. Number 8 is Cult of Chucky. This was a huge mess. It was another huge disappointment where I was really excited. I thought it was a pretty good idea. You have someone in an insane asylum. They think that Chucky is real and that he's killing people, and nobody else believes them because they're probably crazy. But it's just such a mess. And then they have this stupid plot where Chucky possesses her, possesses Nika, one of the least interesting characters of the series. And then the end just becomes like a huge, just fest where Andy's hardly even in the movie. That's another thing, is that they teased that Andy was going to be in Cult of Chucky and that he's going to be the hero of the movie. And he's only in the movie for 2 seconds. What a disappointment. Number 7 is Seed of Chucky. You really can't even describe how disappointing this movie is. It turned the whole series into a joke, and it had this terrible addition of a character named Glenn, where it's a play on Edward D. Wood Jr., fucking Ed Wood, where he did that Glenn or Glenda movie, where he was a transvestite. Really lame idea. And the movie was like a sitcom, but with all this shitty comedy and these shitty effects. And the kills weren't even very good, except for 1 or 2. The whole movie was a joke, and I really despised this movie. It was the turning point for the series becoming trash. Number 6 is the remake. This movie is pretty bad. It really butchers the original story. But to me, I just kind of felt like this movie should have been its own thing. I really don't feel like, as I've said before, I don't feel like this should have been Child's Play. I felt like they should have called this Buddy the Killer AI Doll. Something. It just wasn't good as a remake. Aubrey Plaza, she's a one-hit wonder where she just plays the same old character over and over and over again. Some people find her funny. Some people find her retarded. I'm kind of an in-between. I just get really sick of these actors, these modern actors who can't act worth shit, and they just act in all these shitty movies playing the same shitty characters over and over. And I really despise the fact that they took one of the best characters of the series, if not the best character, which was Andy's mother, and they turned her into Aubrey Plaza. Okay? Number 5 is Curse of Chucky. This one, it reminds me a lot of Halloween 4. A lot of fans like this movie, and to be fair, it did try to take a more serious turn, and it tried to be better than whatever the fuck Seed of Chucky was. It just wasn't very good at all. It showed that, I know that everybody pretends that, that Don Mancini, that he's the greatest and he knows everything about Chucky, but this movie proved that he's really, I don't think that he's the right person to be running this series. I think someone else should be heading it, because it just seems like he goes in all these different directions with these terrible ideas or really good ideas, and he really doesn't know how to properly have things pan out, because the way that this movie ended up going, it was like a full moon feature, and I never wanted to watch Chucky in a full moon feature. So number 4 is part 2. This one's really overrated. It's really mean-spirited, and I don't know, I just kind of find it boring. I watched it for fun last year, and it was a big mistake because I got really, really bored, and I just thought, this is kind of a dumb direction to take the series in. I didn't really feel like it was as good as everyone says it is. However, it was better than all these other pieces of shit. So I kind of like Kyle too. I thought Kyle was a okay character back when she was a good character in this film. But just it and the twists too. The twists at the beginning of the movie, very contrived to make Andy in this foster home to where the mom is in an insane asylum, and the detective from the first film, he just doesn't care, and he's just gonna let this innocent woman stay in an insane asylum. Like, what a fucking terrible idea. Really bad. So just for that, it gets this low place. Number 3 is Brides of Chucky. This movie, I know that it starts off the comedic tone of the series, but I felt like at least it was trying to be different in like a good way. Like, you felt like there was a certain style to it where, it's a style. It's a style of film. It probably shouldn't have been made. It should have been something more serious, but it is pretty fun. I don't really like the character of Tiffany, though. I think that she's kind of a mess. She doesn't really make much sense. The fact that they do this kind of rewriting history where her character was a slasher with him all along, and it's just kind of like, nah. It would have been better if she was just a fan, if she was just a crazy fan of his. I thought that's what she was at first, but then years later I was like, oh, that's stupid. That's a terrible idea. She was a co-killer with him. Ew, that's a terrible idea. Because it doesn't fit. They just keep on adding these elements that don't work to the point of where it's just all convoluted crap. However, it is a good road trip movie. It's very fun. And it's a lot of fun to watch, like, when you're even on a road trip, too, because it's like, it doesn't take itself too seriously. It has some good kills, and the characters are pretty likable. Katherine Heigl, for probably the only time in her whole career and her whole life, she is likable in this movie. So, congratulations. Number 2 is part 3. I will say it is very close, but after seeing the new season of Chucky, I've really gone backwards to where backwards in terms of, I'm sick of the comedic, goofy, silly, Looney Tunes Chucky. I just want serious Chucky like in Child's Play 1. I don't think that in the whole series a movie has come close to Child's Play 1. I think that, Child's Play 3, it is a really, really damn good movie. It's a ton of fun. I love the direction it takes. I think that it's a great idea. You know, you got Chucky at a military school. I really like the love interest, especially because her first name, De Silva. I knew a girl with the last name De Silva, and she was pretty hot. So I'm kind of biased with that. And I thought some of the kills were really creative. I thought that the ending was really good with the fight in the carnival. So overall, this was a really fun, good movie. And I don't think that it was too comedic. Like, I definitely think it was heading down a wrong turn. You know, it was doing the same thing that all these slasher movies do, is that over time they just become cheesy and goofy and dumb. So number one, obviously you already know, is the original Child's Play. You know, nothing can really beat this movie at all, because nothing takes itself seriously like this movie. Like, you had Tom Holland, and he was using Hitchcockian suspense. He wasn't making a joke. He wasn't making like a joke story with, oh look, it's funny, this doll can say bitch and fucking shit. Like, oh, isn't that hilarious? Not. No, he was telling a real horror story. And also the theme. The theme of the movie is the best piece of music probably in horror history, or it's one of the best pieces of horror music. It is so haunting and so cool and so interesting, and I feel like it's a really underrated song, and it's just perfect. I mean, this movie, it was a perfect story. It could have been a great series, but they ruined that because they wanted to do comedy. They wanted to have a little joke here and there. They wanted to go, ha ha ha, look, the doll has a dick, ha 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 ha. You know, they ruined it. They ruined the series. They ran it into the ground. They didn't do what was right with the characters, especially the fact that the mom is a really good character. And, you know, you talk about great female horror characters. It's not Tiffany. It's not Glenn and Glenda, who now become, like, I don't know what the fuck Glenn and Glenda is anymore. No, like, Andy's mom is a fantastic female horror character, and she was shelved away in the series, and I feel like that sucks. It really sucks what they did to this series. So, and season 3 will probably be even worse and have even more agendas. So please like this video, comment, give me your ranking of the series, and then subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more honest reviews. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.